100 for 100. It's a podcast for any person that's looking at getting into watching films, cinema, movies, whatever you want to call it, man. If you're new to the movie watching game and you're trying to figure out what are the movies that I should watch as a new person getting into, well, I've made a list for you. I made things easy on you, man. I'm trying to make your life a little bit less complicated in the year 2020, even though I'm recording this in the year 2019. December 30th, as a matter of fact. I made a list of 100 films that I think every new movie watcher should watch at least once. And then I ranked that list from 100 to 1 because I make horrible decisions in life. And I purposely made things harder for myself. But I do believe I conquered this list. I'm pretty sure it's a list that I will get many complaints about. And I will take those complaints and I will ignore every single one of them as I drink my beers. I also have a 100-word review that accompanies each one of these. So let's get into it, shall we? How about that? Let's get into it. Yesterday, we talked about our number 88 spot in Clerks. Came out in 1994, directed by Kevin Smith, man. It is one of the more successful indie films out there. Comes at a time where indie films really taking off. Shout out to Miramax for that. Just the company. But now, if you haven't watched Clerks, check that out, man. But now we're here to talk about the 87 spot. So we go from one black and white movie to another black and white movie, 1964, directed by Stanley Kubrick. It is called Dr. Strangelove, or How I Learned to Stop Worrying and Love the Bomb. Man, good movie. If you have not seen it, this is criminally underrated. Let's check out this 100-word review about Dr. Strangelove. The blackest of comedies. Dr. Strangelove, or How I Learned to Stop Worrying and Love the Bomb, takes a merciless jab at Cold War paranoia, the United States military, and government, featuring a plethora of mentally unhinged officers, evil scientists, and weak leadership, all on display as tensions between the U.S., United States, and Russia are ratcheted up due to trigger-happy General Ripper. While the film is very loosely based on Peter George's novel Red Alert, Dr. Strangelove stands on its own, mostly due to multiple performances by Peter Sellers and the over-the-top mania of George C. Scott. Oh, Dr. Strangelove, I love it. I love it. It is a combination of sheer madness and brilliance. I think it's one of Kubrick's more underrated movies. All right, like I just mentioned, George C. Scott, shout out to him, who was furious after he found out that they're making a comedy and not a drama, because Kubrick always had him ratchet up his performances to 110. So much good satire of the lack of common sense from the world leaders sometimes. It speaks to that, and it speaks to also a couple other things. Peter Sellers holds this entire film on his shoulders. There's times he's better in this here than he is in the Pink Panther films, which are his claim to fame. Every once in a while, he just really knocks it out of the park. In pretty much every one of his performances. Not as so much as Dr. Strangelove. I think that's, of the three, he's my least favorite. But as a president, I really love him as president. And as also as the British liaison, which is where you see him most of the time. And my favorite scene is anytime Buck Turgidson is on the screen, played by George C. Scott, because his mania is so ratcheted up past 100. It's just to the point of absolute silliness, and the final shot of this movie of Slim Pickens riding the nuclear bomb all the way down is the most American shots that I have ever seen put on film. Dr. Strangelove is an incredibly wonderful, wonderful film. People talk about black comedy. I think this is one that really goes overlooked, maybe, because they just play everything so straight. So there's not a bit of actual comedy or too much laughter coming from the characters in the film, because everyone's playing it so serious and so straight, which is what makes it funny. So, number 87 on the list. Make sure you check it out, Dr. Strangelove.